So today on Project Shop, we're gonna get back on these transformers. Now, a couple days ago, I ran through a bunch of copper ones. We made a little over $700, or we produced $700 in about 50 minutes. So I have probably about the same amount, weight-wise almost. So what we're gonna do is see how much we can get out of a bunch of copper aluminum transformers, and if it's actually worth even processing these. So we'll break some down, keep the parts, we'll weigh them. I do have I think I have 1,000 water back there. Now, unfortunately, most of these, the smaller coil is usually the copper one, unfortunately. But I've always ran them. I don't even think there's a price for copper aluminum transformers. Now, I do have some all copper transformers over there, and I have some other stuff we're gonna recover some transformers from, but we're gonna have a weekend scrap marathon. We'll process them on that. So first thing I gotta do is fix the press. If you've seen in that last video, I broke the thing back here. So what we need to do is pull this off, get it over there on the table, straighten that out, weld it. I'm just gonna put a patch on it because I actually need to replace this whole beam. And then when I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and make, like my other press, have removable jigs. This is a removable jig, but it has to come up and go on this stupid pin, and the pin is bent. This whole thing just needs to be replaced. But I wanna get the right piece of steel. I need something that's like a 1/2 inch thick, because eventually, this is actually going to do two functions. Since the transformers have slowed down so much for me, I'm going to gear this thing up to do the pulling part of what this press over here is doing. So this thing will be set up for cracking and splitting, and then we'll have that press set up for just pulling on the smaller motors. But I'll have a setup like this, something that we can just slap the different jigs in there. But we'll get into that in another video. Today we're going to weld that. I did find the nut. I'm gonna see if I can't just put that back on. I really can't believe how that actually unscrewed itself the way it did. If I can't get that one back on there, I will just go get another bolt. First thing we're gonna do is pull this cover off. Now, this started its life as a 20-ton hydraulic press from Harbor Freight. This is the original carriage, but it's been upgraded with some 1/2 inch plate. I welded some 1/2 inch plate up here, and I welded a C-channel beam across the top and I put gussets in the corner, and there's bars welded in the side for more support. I put a 50-ton cylinder in here one time, and it started tweaking things. It didn't really like it. But right now we're actually running, that's a 25-ton, 10,000 PSI cylinder from Enerpac. Those Enerpac cylinders are not cheap. See, that just comes out with a pin. And literally I built this from scrap. This was a piece of square stock. I welded some nuts. I had something in here before. That was a piece of plate. That was a piece of plate. And then that's a piece of square stock. I have in the past cut that off and re-welded it. I'll probably do that again maybe one day, because that is definitely worn out. That thing's probably cracked, I don't even know, probably hundreds of thousands of transformers in 13 years. In the beginning of my scrapping, all I did was transformers, nothing else. So
West Country, is beautiful.
Okay, now we're going to pull this out, and this was literally made from scrap I had laying around. It's just a spacer. These were angle iron. I cut a slot in it, welded some braces on it, and welded some square stock on it right there. And I recently did a video where I replaced these, and they've been working great ever since. Now this piece here started its life as a giant piece of C-channel, and I welded this brace in the bottom with a rib that actually pushes on that beam, and it is dug a huge groove in that beam down there. That's crazy. That's actually pretty good. You don't want that thing rocking up. So we're just going to set it right there. As hard as that thing was to get on there, I hope it stays. Ram, there you go. Alright, now we're going to reevaluate the safety thing I had here. I really wasn't happy with the plexiglass. I have some aluminum expanded metal. We might just go ahead and put that in there like that. There we go. We are way safer now. Better than that plexiglass. Let's check the range of motion here. Oh yeah. I am safe from getting smacked in the face with a spring. We're gonna see if we can get this done in an hour and whoa, what we can actually make. way behind. I'm getting hungry. Okay, there you got it. We got 2 buckets full. That should be around 60 pounds plus, 60, 70 pounds. Now the camera died before I finished, but we got 52.37 for what we did there. Now remember, I got a couple camera changes involved in that. Now, I set these aside just so we can weigh them and get the difference. So I'm gonna knock these out real quick. And we're not going to count these with the time because we'll just subtract that from the camera changes that I did. Now the thing about these transformers is between the different manufacturers, and the different applications, the different voltages. Some of these might be 175s down to, or 150s, 250s down to, we got a freaking double aluminum, man. Normally I check those before they get that far. That sucks. There was actually a couple double aluminums in there, and then there was a couple double coppers. And I think that was just for me when I was loading them on the table. I was kind of just looking at them real quick. Okay, we got the big transformer. We got the steel in here, 1608. We got the number 2 copper, 1.8 1.87. And then we got the big aluminum coil, 1.32. All right, we got 9.03 pounds on the small coil copper transformer. 0.77 on the small copper coil. 0.77 on the aluminum. That's interesting. All right, we got the big coil. Look at the difference between them coils. Definitely a difference. We got the steel for the big coil, 7.93. We got the copper, 1.54. And we got the aluminum, 0.88. We got 6.06 pounds with the steel on the small transformer. The number 2 copper on the small transformer, 0.33. 0.44 on the aluminum. That's sad. We got 38.12 on the aluminum. We got 66.45 on the number 2 copper. And we got 490 pounds basically, minus 30 pounds. So 460 on the prepared steel. Okay, so we had some very interesting results. I weighed that stuff up, okay, and pretty much this is the steel price of the big transformer, the copper price, and the aluminum price. And that's the overall price that was worth $8.29. And I added it all up. It weighed 19.27 pounds. And if you would have just sold that off at 30 cents a pound or whatever, I think I could have snuck that in with an electric motors. You would have got $5.78. So, you know, you pretty much gained like $2 and something cents. And then the same thing with these. This other one with the small coil, medium-sized transformer, was worth $3.82 and then worth $3.17. So it was actually not much of a difference there, but there was a pretty big difference over here with the big coil. $6.24 overall, and then sold as like an electric motor, $3.10. But I don't know, maybe some people, you might be able to get sneak them in with some transformers. I know some places pay more for copper transformers, but I don't know if they check them. Or I don't know if they have an actual price for copper aluminum transformers. Now this is where it got interesting. That one small transformer was only worth $1.83, but as an electric motor, it would have been worth $2.04. Okay, which is kind of alarming. And next time I get a big grouping of those small transformers, I'm actually going to break a couple more out and look at them, because I don't know if you know how well that is. Because the thing about them is there's a lot of different transformers, okay, all different shapes and sizes. So I might have just had like an oddball one, so I really got to do like a good grouping of them. But overall, this is what we were here for. 460 pounds of steel, 9 cents a pound. 41.40, 66.45. Number 2 copper at $3.26 a pound. Copper's down so much right now. $216.62. And then the cast aluminum 38.12 at 58 cents a pound. That's actually down a lot too. $22.10 for $280.12. I was able to recover in that hour. Now, if you would have just added all that up and sold them as like an electric motor, it would have only been $169.30. So processing them and breaking them down, you know, you're gained $110.75. And I did that in, you know, 50 something minutes, 50 minutes. Plus you got to realize I had a lot of camera time and a bunch of stuff in there. So we could have knocked those numbers down a little bit. Now, those transformers actually came with the transformers I did a week ago, the all copper ones where I got the 731.55. Okay, so in total they were worth $1,011.67. Now I paid around $300. They came in 2 different loads. I think one was $160, and then I paid like $40 for those big transformers and the 1,000-watt copper transformers. The 1500s and the 1000s came from one place. In that 2-hour span, we gained $711.67 profit, but it did take me about 6 hours. We had an hour picking it up, an hour getting it from the trailer to the table, 2 hours processing, and then because I had to go, well, I'm still gonna have to go to a steel yard, and then Miami, we're gonna add 2 hours there. So in total, about 6 hours to process them, which comes out to about $118.61 an hour, which that's not bad numbers, but it definitely ain't copper transformer numbers, man. If we would have been just doing all copper transformers, you know, we recovered at 731 in an hour, and I did that with a broken machine. It had missing bolt and broken thing on the top. We could have got that done in a lot more time. Now, the reason why this second one was around the same time, even with a good machine, is because those small transformers, I had so many more of them. There might have been, I didn't count, but might have been like a third or even, you know, a lot more transformers on that second run. But since we were kind of knocking them out, I did have a couple hiccups there, but since we were knocking them out and I didn't have as many problems with the press, it was round about the same time. You know, you got to remember that machine is only going to produce so many transformers per minute at its maximum, you know, capacity, as long as everything goes smooth. You're going to average 3 a minute, even with the hiccups and whatnot. If you're doing less than 3 a minute, you got a problem with that setup. And then once you get in a groove, you can get into 4 and 5 a minute, you know, as long as you're going smooth. But our transformer's still worth processing. Heck yeah, man, we actually got some more here. I got some more sitting on the table. I got some, I think there's more down in the bottom of this. We got some recover here. We're gonna go through these and see what we can get. We got some old style ballast here. Non-PCB, okay. So a lot of these look like electronic ballast. We'll just sell off. But I do have another barrel around here somewhere that's got some more ballast in it. So we're gonna see about getting some more copper recovery. We got some LEDs to get some extruded aluminum. We got some brass lights, some yard lights, fancy lights to clean up. So if you come this far, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We're gonna have a massive weekend scrap out. I'll tell you where we're going, right to the scrap yard. I let this stuff cook off for a couple hours. It actually drained some black stuff on the ground. And then I shut it off and let it sit for a couple hours before I left. This stuff absolutely stinks. My whole shop smells like burnt electronics right now. Let's see what we got. Holy moly. Wow. Looks like everything kind of melted together. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get that out.